Lights, camera, action. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to welcome you all first and foremost, once again, to Transformation Greatness along with the Small Business Network podcast. And we have reached episode 105. And I said this before, and I'll say it again. For all those that contributed, that have added value, to all of our amazing guests, we just want to say thank you. Because without you, none of this will be possible. Not even close. You know, when I started this, or actually when we came up with the idea back in December, we knew it would be good. Heck, we even knew it would be great. But you guys have took it to another level with your amazing support, by you coming on board and sharing your excellent value, by you sharing. And so we want to go ahead and honor that. We really do. And we don't take that for granted whatsoever. And I also want to say this too, is that also let us know too, as far as in the comments, or even if you check out the past podcasts in which that we did. And if there's any topics that you would like for us to discuss about, if there's any particular guests that you would love for us to bring on board, then by all means, please feel free to share that with us, because we're always looking as far as to improve and get better. And ultimately, it's all about you guys having a platform to share your absolute greatest and let others know of your brilliance. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get this party started. This is a beautiful thing. I have an amazing guest for you guys, and I'm just so super excited because not only is she an entrepreneur and she has an amazing story and a powerful ministry, but if I could be biased here as well, she's also part of Powerful on Purpose Summit, which is going to be August 28th in beautiful Columbia, South Carolina. Yours truly, my special guest, Dee Russell, Helen Henry, many of our beautiful, amazing speakers will be there live in person, and will be sharing our powerful talks. And I encourage you to attend. If you're looking as far as for more information, please feel free afterwards to message me, and I will definitely get you out that information. It's going to be a packed house. So my suggestion to you is that if you really want to go, by all means, go ahead and book your ticket as soon as possible. We have here Dr. James McConnell, aka the mad scientist in the house. And I tell you, this is just a beautiful thing. Also, too, while I'm waiting for my guests to arrive, I just want to go ahead and share something with you. And this is what we do here with the Small Business Network. I don't know if you guys can see it because I have like my yellow drink here. But this says here, I don't know if you guys can see it, partner and CEO Shawn White with the Small Business Network. This is just some of the few of the fringe benefits that you get while being a part of this amazing organization. And believe me when I tell you, Dr. James don't give this to just anybody. That I can go ahead and tell you. He's very selective on when he does things like this. So for the fact that I even got something like this, it's just a beautiful thing. But that's enough about us. Our special guest is going to go ahead and rock it. She is going to be truly amazing. Let me go ahead and even put in the comment section to let her know that come on down. Maybe she's powdering her nose. I'm not quite too certain, but you know how it is, guys, as far as with Facebook. Gotta take about a few moments to get the algorithm, running. So do me a favor while we're waiting on our amazing guests here. Please feel free to start commenting, liking it. Heck, even go ahead and share this out to your respective social media handles, because this is going to be a great podcast interview. And I'm just like so super excited. And actually, look at that. There she is up top. So I'm going to go ahead and bring her on right now. And we're going to get this party started. And do me a favor, guys, because she's going to bring so much value to the equation. And even though that she's upside down, kind of, sort of, she's actually to the right. But you know what? We can still go ahead and make it work. Okay, so now she's the other way, but we can still go ahead and make it work. I'm very versatile. It doesn't matter to me. but we would love for the can to be just like that. So with no further ado, guys, let me go ahead and stop talking because the star of the show is actually here.
I'm
Again,
honored.
this is our fellow Powerful on Purpose Summit. One of the speakers, which is going to tear the house down, the one, the only, Mrs. D. Russell. Welcome,
Hey,
welcome.
good evening, everyone. I'm so happy to be here and I'm honored. I'm honored. I've been watching some of your podcasts in the evenings and never thought I would be on here. So this is an honor. I appreciate and thank you for allowing me to grace your presence in the presence of your of all of your fans and everyone who's normally on your call.
Thank you. Thank you. I mean, hey, the honor is most certainly ours, and this is what we look for. We love to bring people that's going to add value, right? That have a story to share, and more so, especially how the way I do it, I love to provide for the listening audience insights, breakthroughs, things in which that they can use that's tangible, right? But more importantly, the people that I bring on board is that they had to be themselves. They had to be truly authentic. So with that, D, I know you obviously because you're a part of as far as our amazing group that we have. But if you can just enlighten the listening audience and just tell them just a little bit about yourself, not too much, but just a
Just
little
a
bit. All right,
little bit.
just
Well,
a little.
first I want to say hi to my family that's out there. I see all of you on. I appreciate you being there and supporting me. Like you said earlier, my name is Dee Russell. I am the founder of Moving Mountain Ministries, and I believe that if we just believe and if we work hard, we can move those mountains that are in our way. I love Matthew 17, chapter 17, 20 and 21st verse, where it says, "For truly I tell you, if you have faith the size of a mustard seed, you will say to this mountain, move." So that's what I do. I move those mountains that was in my life in the past. But I founded Moving Mountain Ministries because I am an empowerment coach. And my desire is to empower women like me to take a leap of faith by stepping out of their tragedies and leaping into their triumphs. So that's a little bit about me, and just to get you started, I can share my story. It'll probably take all night, but I'm just happy just to let people know who I am because lately I have been tasked to do social media recordings and all, and I'm an introvert. I don't talk very much. My family know I don't talk very much, but just doing that is like moving that mountain itself because now I'm stepping out on faith and I'm allowing God to do what he instilled in me many years ago. So he has positioned me in a place where I have to put myself out there now and just to tell my story so others like me who've lost a child or who've gone through a divorce or even financial strap, know how to get beyond that.
Oh, fantastic. And I'm glad that you said that because I definitely want you to get into your story because people see as far as your reels and by the way you're doing a fantastic job and
Thank you.
they see as far as all the work in which that you're doing. But if there anybody if they're anything like me, I always love to learn the backstory, right?
Yeah.
How did you get to this point as being such an empowerment coach? Because you could have been doing anything else, right? Anything else. But empowerment coach is very intriguing. So tell us more about your backstory. How did Mrs. D. Russell become the empowerment coach of today?
Well, the reason I got to this point is because God placed in my heart many years ago a vision. This vision, I was standing on this huge stage with all these women surrounding me, but I was on the stage, and we were just rejoicing and praying and praising and all. And this was maybe about 15 years ago because this was prior to my daughter getting sick, but I really didn't pay any attention to it too much. I knew there was something and God did have a gift on my life. I just didn't know what it was.
Right.
One of those situations where you're trying to find your gift or your purpose in
Mhm.
life. You read purpose driven, the purpose driven story. I think that's what it's
Purpose
called.
driven life.
And also, Purpose Driven Life, I read that because I just wanted to know what was the purpose that God had in my life. Well, I put all of that aside once with my daughter, my youngest daughter got sick. She had an astrocytoma glioma brain tumor. And when she got sick, my world just crumbled a little bit because I felt that I was moving in the direction of Job. Actually, I used to say that I feel like I'm Job.
Can
But we
you
know,
can,
yes.
can you back up for a second? I'm sorry. You
Uh-huh.
just you just used a term that I don't think a lot of us are familiar with. You said
Uh-huh.
with your daughter. I'm sorry. What was that again?
She had an astrocytoma glioma brain tumor. She was 7 years old when we found out that she had a brain tumor. So that turned my world around because
Okay.
my focus was on her and making sure she was okay. But my prayer was that one day she'll be 100% healed.
Okay.
And that's what I lived by the entire time that she was alive, and how we prayed and asked God to heal her. I knew my daughter was going to be healed. I knew that even though the life expectancy is only like 20% of the children do live through that aggressive tumor, I knew she was going to be that exception. She was going to be the one who lived through it, and her living through it would allow me to tell her story.
Mm,
So in my mind, when God gave me the vision of talking to all these women on the stage, this was a story that I was going to give them. I was going to share how my daughter, how she conquered a brain tumor, but that wasn't the case. She lived for 2 years. She passed away when she was 9 years old. The tumor got aggressive again, and it wasn't fluid was the growth of the tumor was stopping the fluid from going around her brain, and so she was no longer able to do pretty much do anything because she was having the headaches because of the
wow.
the fluid wouldn't
Right.
circulate through her brain.
Wow.
So we lost her in 2009. So after that, um, her death, and just getting over her death and uprooting my oldest daughter and moving back to my hometown, shortly after that, I got a divorce. The marriage wasn't really going too well, with Raven being sick, my daughter being sick, but it didn't make it any better.
Right.
So I
Okay.
divorced after that, and I'm still thinking, oh my God, what else can happen next? And that's what
Right.
I was saying earlier, that I felt like I was living the life of Job. But we know
Mm,
death is in the power of the tongue, right?
right.
So you have to be careful of what you're saying because you're speaking that. And that's what I was speaking. And the more I said it, the worse things happened to me.
Right.
I had to pick up and move because my house was foreclosing in Georgia. So I moved home with my dad, which was the best thing that I could do for me and for my daughter, because
Okay.
now she has that male role model in the home with her to kind of show her what a father is supposed to be like. And it's not that I'm saying that her father was a bad father. It's just that she needed another example in her life with losing her sister and having uprooting her from Atlanta to another city where she has to get new friends and
Right.
everything. But we survived. We survived it. We had another tragedy after that. Her father passed away after 3 years after that, and we survived that also. So when I say I'm here to empower women, that's the things that I'm talking about. I'm talking about these life tragedies. How do you get through it? You go through it, but how do you get through it? Because when you're going through it, you just don't know. You don't feel like it's going to pass.
Exactly.
You don't feel like there's going to be sunshine coming anymore because you're in it.
Correct.
And when you're in it, no one else can tell you nothing but I'm sorry it's happening to you, because no one feels the way you feel. But I know that there are other women out there who've experienced all this. They may not have experienced all of it at one time, the death of a child, the death of an ex, and the death of a marriage,
Right.
but they've experienced something. So that's why I'm here. I'm here to let them know that I'm living proof that this is my testimony, that if I empowered myself, and I know they can do it too. So I'm here to show them how to do it, how to get beyond it, how to crawl over that mountain or push that mountain out of your way.
That's what I'm talking about. Come on, somebody. Yeah, that ain't some empowerment for you. I don't know what is. And for everybody, for everybody that's just tuning in, welcome to Transformation Greatness, along with the Small Business Network podcast. We have here our very special guest here, the one and only powerhouse speaker, Mrs. D. Russell. I love it. I love it. I love it. So let me ask you this. So when people are working with you, or preferably when women are working with you, what can they expect? Like, what products and services do you provide to these ladies? Because empowerment is like, I mean, everybody hears empowerment, encouragement. That sounds all good. It sounds all gravy. But what is the sauce that you give them to make them be like, uh-huh, okay.
The source is transparency. When you're a part of moving mountain ministries, you're coming with an open heart. You're coming with being transparent and telling your story and not being judged for your story.
Mm, mm.
My tactic is to not do one-on-ones, but get a group of women together so we can share, so we can love on one another, and so we can also tell each other how we get over our trials and tribulations.
Oh,
So
okay.
that's my whole idea of coming together as women. We're coming together because when we're together, we strengthen each other because we're natural nurturers. And because we're natural nurturers, we know how to nurture each other and be just listen to each other.
I think I think that's key too, because when you're in an environment like that, especially when you overcame so much, I think what it is that you have individuals that be quick to tell you like, oh yeah, yeah, you'll be just fine, right? Yeah, you'll go ahead, yeah, you get over it, just toughen up, right? And just, be strong, but a lot of times in my experience of working with individuals, and maybe you can attest to this as well, is that they just really don't have a platform to really be able just to share, right? And it's like everybody's so quick just to give their own 2 cents in, but there's not enough listening. There's
Yes.
not enough empathy. Even if you necessarily just like, and you touched on it earlier, even if you didn't exactly go through that particular circumstance, but you may have encountered something that may be kind of similar to that. It may show up very differently. So just having that platform really to give an individual like a safe space or a safe haven where, hey, you know what? While you're here, we can come together and we can definitely, share as far as what's going on. You can be open and vulnerable, but also too, let's not just come here just for the sake of kumbaya,
Right.
but there's also some action steps as well that's going to be involved. Is that on what you're telling the listening audience, or did I
Yeah.
misunderstand you?
No, you didn't misunderstand at all. One thing that you did say you said that, sometimes we're saying, oh, you'll be all right, or you'll be okay. Sometimes people say toughen up, but there are times where people think that we're strong and they expect us to be strong. But we have to know it's okay not to be strong. It's okay to have a bad day. It's okay to cry. And it's okay to cry every day. But what we have to know is after you cried, pick yourself up, dry your eyes, and keep it moving. I had a bad day Monday. Yeah, today's
Mm,
Wednesday. I had a bad day Monday. It that morning I just got up. There was a song that I was playing by Whitney Houston that I used to play, when my daughter was going through her illness and after her death. And it was I didn't know my own strength. And I haven't heard that song in a while. And it's on my rotation with the music that I listen to in the morning, but it just never played.
right.
Well, it played Monday morning.
Mm,
And when I heard that song, it brought back old memories. And they weren't necessarily all sad. Some of them were, but the words that she was saying, and if you get a chance, listen to it. The words she was saying was, I didn't know I had my own strength.
mm,
And and it talked about her, how she crumbled and how she dropped down and how she cried and how she stumbled, but she picked herself up. And that was me in 2009. From 2009 to like 2012, that was me. When I moved back to my hometown, I was used to being an independent woman with a job. I
Right.
had a child to take care of. It took me about 7 months to find a job. And, my father didn't mind me staying in his home and not having one. But the independent me, I cried every day until I found a job. But what I did was I started telling myself something
Mm.
different. Instead of saying I needed to find a job, I have to find a job, I started saying I'm going to get a job, and I'm going to get a job, and I'm going to have that job by my birthday. Well, I got the job 2 days before my birthday. I started the job. So it's like it's having faith, but it's also making sure that people around you feel the faith that you have, because when they feel that strength pulls on them to let them know that they can be strong too. My story is no different from anyone else's. Maybe the results and all are a little different,
Right.
but what I've been through, others have been through it too. Is just that you have a choice, and there's always a choice. You have a choice to stay sad and grieve, or you have a choice to pick yourself up and keep it moving, because the world is still going to go on whether you're
Yep.
sad or not.
Talk about it.
So
Oh,
and
absolutely.
I have to, my daughter, my oldest daughter, she is a powerhouse. And I think about her and I think about everything she's been through. This young lady has lost her sister and her father in the same month of her birthday.
Mm.
And ever since she was in school, she's always had all A's. So we was going through this transition with her sister while she was in middle school. She had all A's. We was going through this transition with her while she was in high school with her dad. She had all A's. She graduated from college with a high GPA. And now she has her own business. She's still working a full-time job. My girl is a powerhouse, and I look at her and she thinks that I'm her strength, but she's my strength, because
Mm.
I know if this young lady can pull through and get through all of this, I know I can too. So we pulled on each other. And when you have that family and you have that support, there's nothing that you can't do. I can talk all night about this. I'm trying to save some for the Powerful on Purpose event, but I can talk all night because my story is who I am. It's who I
Amen to that.
am, and a lot of people don't know it, but it's who I am. And I 12 14 years ago, I started writing a book. Like I said, I started writing a book about Raven, my baby, saying that she was 100% healed. But after she passed away, what God showed me was that book wasn't for her. That book was about me, and it was about Him healing my heart. And I'm proud to say that I'm finally going to finish my book. I'm working on it right now. I'm currently working with Tashana Burrell, and she's one of the speakers who will be speaking with us.
Mhm.
And she's with 120. She founded 120 Publishing Company, so she's helping me complete my book. And I'm going to say this live, that my book will be published and it'll be done October 6th,
Excellent.
before my birthday.
Can somebody
Yeah.
can somebody write that down? Because here's the thing: saying it is one thing, but when you have it down for the whole entire universe to acknowledge, now that means that it got to get done.
Oh
I
yeah.
love that.
Yeah.
I love that
Put it
because
out there.
it speaks to accountability. So now there is no plan B, C, D, E, F. No, it got to get done on October 6th. Period. End of
Period.
story. I love that. I love that. Come on, somebody. Hey guys, if you're getting value out of this, can somebody please just smash those heart buttons? Just let us know as far as if this was resonating with you at all. I mean, this is just truly, truly amazing. So I'm glad you mentioned powerful on purpose because I want to go ahead and segue into that. I talked about it earlier. It's going to be next month,
Hmm.
August 26th, in beautiful Columbia, South Carolina. In your opinion, D, what can people expect by attending the Powerful on Purpose Summit?
Oh my gosh. Well, I can only speak for myself right now. I'm ready. I'm on fire. I'm ready to share my story. I'm just ready to touch lives now. God has put it out there for me. I'm walking in my purpose now. He has positioned me to be where I need to be. So I'm looking for that promotion. I said on Sunday that when God gives you a purpose, he gives you those three P's. That's positioning, perfecting, and promoting. So I'm ready. I am in the position where I can share my story, and that's all I'm going to do is share my story. I'm looking forward to hearing all the other speakers. I've heard some of your story, and I know you're going to touch lives also. So it's time. This is my time,
Mm.
and I'm ready. I'm ready to walk in the destiny that God has for me.
In the words of Dr. James McConnell, stir them hot grits. I just had to say that. I'm sorry, Dr. James. I had to say that. That was just too good. Stir them hot grits. Which leads me into my next question. Because with everything in which that you've been through and everything in which that you endured and overcame, by the way, you're doing so much great work. And you can say, you know what? I'm just going to keep this to myself. I'm going to keep this as far as to my inner circle, right? And just build that way, right? And
Mhm.
by all accounts, you can, because it's all about choices, right? And you can be selfish. I know a lot of individuals that choose to do that. No judgment, no condemnation. But I guess my question to you on this Wednesday evening is like, why now? Why is it important for you to share your story? Why are you here on the podcast? Why is it so much of a high importance to get that message out there? Why? Why
Because
now?
you know what, Sean, and I thank you for asking that question. When God placed a calling on your life, you don't know when you have to do it, but you know you have to. Um, I thought
Mhm.
this was going to happen a long time ago, but I didn't know if I was ready. And it's not up to me being ready, is when God ordains for me to be ready. So there were some things that I had to do first. They say faith without works is dead, right? So
Correct.
there were some things that I felt that I had to do, like go back to school, like getting my coaching certificate, like getting a master's in organizational leadership, so I can understand how to speak to other women and how to tell, um, how to how how can I say this? How to relate to them, where not only am I sharing my testimony, but also listening to their testimony. So there were
Mm,
some things that I had to do, like I said, the three P's. So God was perfecting me so he can position me. So the perfecting happened when I went to school, when I got the certificates in personal and professional and Christian coaching. And then when I got the degree in organizational leadership. The reason why I got it in organizational leadership is because my job pays 100% for our tuition. So that's the closest thing that I could get to Christian leadership,
right.
because it was a Christian school. So some of that Christian part of it was being taught, but I was also getting the business part of it. So why now? Now is because God has positioned me and he has opened these doors. And when God opens the door for you, you can't stutter and stand back and say, no, I don't want to go through that door, because you'll lose your gift. He has given
Mm,
me the gift to speak and to tell my story. And all of this didn't happen to me for no reason. It happened to me so I can share it with others. So why now? Is because God said it's time. I can only
mm, mm,
do what he tells me to do.
I love that. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're loving this, I want you to go ahead and put in the comments empowerment. Go ahead and type that in right now. Empowerment, empowerment, in big bold letters. I'm loving this is what I'm talking. This is what I'm talking about. Final question for you. Well, actually, I got two questions.
Okay.
D, there's gonna be individuals that not only is on the live, but even when catches on the replay, and they're gonna be like, wow, like who is this individual? Like, man, I resonate and I relate with her so much. And I would just love to get in contact with her, but I don't have any information about her. How can people get a hold of you?
Okay. Well, they can get a hold of me on Facebook, D Russell, or they can find me on Instagram, etc. at etc. Russell.
Awesome. And also too, prior to when this interview is over with, just make sure you put all your contact information as far as in the comment section.
Okay.
Now, I don't know how long you've been watching our podcast, not my podcast, but our podcast. But I like to play devil's advocate. And
Hmm.
so everything what you said is amazing. But there's gonna be individuals that's gonna be watching this. And they're gonna say, okay, that's all great, that's all amazing. But girl, I don't know what you talking about. I mean, I just got so much going on, and I got kids, I got this going on, and I got this 9 to 5, and this over here is not working right, and man, I got bills, and I got this, I got tuition, I got all this stuff going on, and yeah, that sounds great, and everything in which that you're saying, and I get it consciously, but subconsciously they got so much going on, and they're like, that sounds good, and I'm happy for you, but what you're talking about is not for me, right? I'm not ready yet. I gotta do X, Y, and Z. D, I would like for you for about at least, I would say, you know what? Because you're an empowerment coach. For 5 minutes,
Okay.
I'm gonna move out the way, and I'm gonna allow for you to speak to that individual as if they were right in front of you. I want you to talk to the camera, and I want you to speak to that individual. You got
Okay.
5 minutes. Make it happen.
5 minutes.
Yep.
To be totally transparent with you, been there, done that. I've been busy. Yes, I was married, but I went from being a wife and a mother of two to being a mother of one, single parent with a child in high school who was very, very active with a full-time job. I had family to help me, yes, but sometimes you don't want the family. Sometimes you want to be able to do it all yourself. Well, we can't. If you have a family that you can lean on, you need to lean on that. Putting pride aside, you need to lean on them. But also, you need to be that person that can do multiple things. I did it. I know you can do it. I'm empowering you. But you also have to take time out for yourself because you're no good for anyone else if you're not taking time out for yourself. Even if you have to do a 30-minute to a 1 hour walk away, breathe, get yourself together, and come back. What I used to do at times was I used to have my alone time. And my alone time was when Alexandria may have been at practice, or she may have been with some friends, or I'm on my way home from work. Just sitting in that car for a few minutes just to get your thoughts together means everything. Or either going to work early when no one else is there for your private time means everything. I think what we do is when as a woman and as a mother, we fail to sometimes take time out for ourselves because we're so busy taking care of the family, we're taking care of our spouse, we're taking care of the people at work, we're trying to do a job, we're trying to be superwoman. But sometimes it's okay not to be that superwoman. Sometimes it's okay to be vulnerable. And when you're vulnerable, you know that you have a heart, and your heart has to rest because we're no good for anyone else if we're not taking care of ourselves. So that busy time that you have, yeah, it will be there. But you got to find that one thing, that one outlet for you because you can't lose yourself. And I say that because when I was a wife and when I was raising my two kids, that's what I was. That was me. So when I lost all of that, when I was down to one child who was in college now, no longer in the home with me, I had to get to know who I was all over again, not as a mother, not as a wife, but as D. And I fell in love with D. I dated myself. I did things for myself. I went back to school for me. I took all these classes for me, and I'm still doing that because I know, even though, and I'm married now, I I love my husband, but I have my wife side. I have my my being a mother side, but I have me now, and I didn't have that back then. And I think that's what women we do when we have our kids. We lose sight of who we are because all we hear all day is mommy, mommy, I need, mommy, I want, mommy, can you? Sometimes we don't even we want to change our names and don't tell them our names because we don't want them to call our names. So it's so important to have that self time. And it's okay to be selfish, because when you're selfish, then you're able to take care of others. But you have to take care of yourself first. I don't know if that was 5 minutes, but that's all I can say to them. You have to put yourself first.
I believe that someone just got empowered through that. I believe that there was some insights, and I wouldn't be surprised that if you get individuals that will be messaging you and want to really lock arms with you. I truly believe that. Man, this is awesome. I really can't see the comments, but it says 32 new comments, so I really don't
Yeah, I
know
see them.
on what. Yeah, I really can't see them all, but I'm definitely going to go back to them. And I tell you, this is absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing.
Well, I'll tell you
And
one
what?
thing,
Sure.
just to throw this out there, Shawn. There's one thing I am doing that I have coming up. I'm doing I'm going to do a book club, and the book club can consist of as many women that want to join up. And what we're going to be reading is, if you can see, this is called Moving Mountains, and it's by John Eldredge. This is a really good book that I'm reading right now. But
Break it back up again, so that way listeners have more no time.
it's
You
called
guys got that?
it's called Moving Mountains, and I love this book. This book has prayers in it, and there's prayers that you can actually pray every night. But this is what I'm reading right now. But I will be starting a book club, and I'll be advertising that soon on how to join my Moving Mountains Ministries book club. But I my heart is for women that experience things, trials, and it doesn't necessarily have to be the same trials that I've experienced, because there's so many different ones out there that we're going through. But we just have to know that we have to be there for each other, and empowering women is what has to happen, because everyone has a story that they can tell. It's just that sometimes every people bottle it up because they don't want to share, because maybe they're embarrassed or they may be too proud to tell people the things that they're going through. But I'm here to tell you that I'm transparent with my story, so what you want to know is what you'll hear.
Gotcha. I just had a quick question before we go ahead and end
Hmm.
too, because I understand as far as your audience or your tribe is women, but is that only just predicated towards women, meaning that if there are men that can resonate or feel like as far as that you can help them, right, go through certain things, because of course us men, we
Hmm.
go through a lot, and sometimes by going through with other men, right? They may not be able to get the same, I guess, results or insights or whatever the case that they may get as opposed with a woman. So I guess my question is for you, D, if men were to come to you and say, hey, I got a chance to watch this podcast and I believe that you can truly help me and they want to work with you, will you say no and
Of
just
course not.
run them off?
I would
Or,
never, I would never say no, because
okay,
just like we lose our kids, just like we go through a divorce, just like we go through financial stress, men do it, men go through it also. So no, my story can help any and everyone.
okay, okay. All right. Well, it was just a question. I was
Hmm.
just thinking about that, so just wanted to kind of throw that out there. D, you did a fantastic job.
Thank
I
you.
asked you certain questions that wasn't what we discussed, and you handled it just like a true professional, which I knew you would, by the way. But I mean, that was just fantastic. I had to say that 4 times because that's how good it was. Fantastic.
Thank you.
Guys, this concludes episode 105 on Transformation Greatness along with the Small Business Network podcast. Thank you once again, Dee, for your time and wisdom and insights. Please make sure, as far as that, you get in contact with Dee for more information. I mean, she's available even for speaking engagements as well. That's right, because she's going to be a household name. That's right, I'm promoting her. Yes, I am. Yes, I am. So
Thank you.
she's available for speaking engagements, and don't forget about yours truly. But also too, but also too, if you're interested and you would love as far as to be a guest on our podcast because you have a story, you have a message, you have a business, a brand. By all means, get in contact with myself, Dr. James, Chrissy Redding, Roosevelt Russell. Those are just a few of our co-hosts. Also, in addition, as well, if TV and radio excites you as well, and you would love to see what the possibility and what that looks like, we can definitely go ahead and talk with you on that. We would love to extend as far as our roster with the Small Business Network, and I think that pretty much covers it. August 26th, be there.
Be there.
Powerful on Purpose. We got tickets, so hey, we're gonna be sending that out. D, thank you once again. It's been an absolute pleasure. And we're going to end this segment like I do basically all my others. And if what D stated either motivated, transformed, or inspired at least one person, then may God be the glory. And we take no credit for absolutely none of it. Until then, you've all been fantastic. It's been an absolute honor and a privilege, D. And until the next episode, peace and love, family.
Thanks, Shawn. Thanks for having me. Good night,
Absolutely.
everyone.
Good night. Good night.